Everything is going wrong at the Legasea Aquarium. My shark tank is lost at sea. Over the last several weeks, we've had so much work done. We've trenched floors, we've done concrete, constructed a bunch of concrete enclosures that are going to have acrylic fronts for the big giant predator fish, the stingray tank, and a whole bunch of other tanks. We've done the heating and cooling, we've done plumbing. There's been so much happening here, and of course the front of the building is coming along great. But with all that good stuff, there's been a lot of problems. The lights went out. These are still working, so it can't be power out of the building. Something must have happened. Off to the switches. The power's out at the Reptarium too.
The sign looks out.
Hi, the power's out over there? Yeah, power's out here too. I'm looking around, it looks like everyone's out of power. Yeah, so we're dead. Well guys, no power.
What is going on?
It's out here too.
VHB and the Reptarium.
This light's on still.
Traffic lights are on, but everything else is out. They're all out. What'd you guys do?
Yeah, I just farted
vacuum.
one time.
But a lot's gone right too. I've read a lot of your comments saying that you're sorry for all the things that are going wrong. The truth is we've had a lot of things go right and we've had a lot of things go wrong. And it starts out right here. I'm standing on a bunch of plywood walking across my koi pond. Of course, there's supposed to be bridges that go here and here. They were supposed to be here a couple weeks ago. Well, we had a bunch of problems with the way it was. The engineering on it didn't quite work, so we had to redo the bridges. So they're not going to be here for another few weeks. And we have an event that's coming up on the 16th of November where a bunch of people are coming for a little bit of a benefit here. So we need to somehow get these bridges in the next 3 weeks. Guys, if you all right without power?
Hope so. Batteries rolled out for cutting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hopefully the power comes back on. You know, the whole area is out. Bad timing, right? And who would have known when we busted out this floor for the shark tank for the foundation that there was going to be 2 foundations? We would to lift the blocks out, and to our surprise, there's actually a floor underneath the floor. But that's not the only place that happened at. I realize it's a little bit dim in here because we don't have lights. Another problem that we're trying to solve. More the city's problem than my problem. It's not this building, it's the entire area, including the Reptarium is out of power. When we cut for all the bathroom, there was actually 2 foundations in there too, which just costs more money, right? Now you're paying not only to saw cut one foundation, but you're paying to saw cut a second foundation, and you're paying to get it out of here, and you even have to pay to get it dumped. It just costs a lot more money when there's 2 foundations as opposed to 1. But the good news is we have the foundation out now, and all of the stacks are here for the bathroom, so the bathroom's all plumbed. We're just waiting on inspections. As soon as it's inspected, we can backfill this, and then we can actually pour this cement, start working on the actual bathroom itself. And actually the plumbers are here. They're going to be plumbing the shark tank today, the filtration for the shark tank. That's pretty exciting. As soon as that plumbing is done for the filtration, we can actually pour the concrete slab that the tank is on, and it's going to look awesome. But there is a little bit of a problem with the shark tank. This is a pretty specialized tank, right? I mean, it is literally 25 foot, 6 foot tall acrylic tank. That's not something you could just go to the local Home Depot and actually get. So we actually had to buy it out of Italy. So it was made out of Italy, and we're going to call the shark tank Gilligan because guess what? It's lost at sea. It was supposed to be here about a week ago at port. It's still not here. We don't have any update. We don't know when it's going to show up. Once it shows up in the port, it has to clear customs, then it goes to Indiana to get seamed into 2 pieces and then ultimately shipped here to seam into 1 tank. So we don't know where the tank is, and we don't know when it's going to show up.
There's the drain. They cut a part out when they saw cut that. Depending on the way it's pitching, that might have been your closest drain unless we try to get all the big pipe in and then break some floor and repair it so we can use it. It's always an option.
Whatever you got, just let me know.
I'll have someone pop that right now and we'll take
no
a
worries.
peek.
Thanks, man. So scary. Take a look at how massive these pipes are. This is for the filtration for the shark tank. There has to be a tremendous amount of water flow that's going into the sump in order to keep this tank crystal clear. And these pipes are absolutely massive. I just got a text about a price that I definitely was not expecting, so I've got to go have a little meeting with Lori about it. As you know, problems come up, and not sure what we're going to do about this one. So obviously we had theming for the tanks that we poured, and I was under the impression that that like was already part of the package, which it was. He's saying that like our theming is more intricate than what he priced out. He wants $158,000 more than what we originally agreed upon. But theming is so important. But I understand we don't have $158,000. And I did talk to him, and he said that he's going to try to work it out to where it becomes more manageable. We have to go back and forth and stuff like that. He agreed that it was too high and that he's going to try to work with us and get it down. But what's your thoughts?
The reality is this really sucks. The grand scheme of things, with everything we have, with all the budget, unfortunately the theming is the most important part because that's how it looks. It's not like we can get another cement guy to pour a pad of cement because we can price it out. Like, this is something that matters, and we need somebody who can do a good job and actually create the things we want.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, theming is the #1 important thing. Look, but it's not it's impossible. It's just that we don't have the money to do it. It's impossible. So I'm like I said, I'm hoping like we can.
So
I'm just hoping that maybe the scope of work was misunderstood,
Yeah.
and maybe we could get that number down.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna,
I mean,
it's not going to be. It's going to be something.
I mean, I think the plan is to break it down piece by piece.
Right.
And this is what we want. This is the look we want. Price it out like that individually so we can actually see what the value is there and make some decisions moving
Right.
forward. Because I can't just say, and I won't just say, oh yeah, give me another 50 grand worth, whatever that is. Like that doesn't
Right.
work. You know what I mean?
Right.
We kind of have to go by our vision and what we want and tweak it from there.
Right. Well, can you help me with that then? We put together something we could show them, and we could go, like you said, enclosure by enclosure and get prices and seeing if we could do it. But like I said, in no world can we spend $158,000 more. It's just there's no. The budget is not it's just not.
Budget has already exploded.
Right.
Like,
well, we'll be living in a
it's-
trailer in the parking lot because we'll have to sell our house if we have to pay for that.
might be an option of where we could get the theming money.
I'm glad you're taking it so well. I'm not taking it as well as you. So, all right, I'll let you know what we figure out. The trench is actually dug out and the piping is starting to go in. This is again the filtration for the shark tank. Crazy, it's just absolutely amazing. But it's definitely wild to see. I mean, I cannot believe process. I can't believe that this is going to be a shark tank here in just another month. And of course, we had the heating and cooling system that I told you guys about before. That we had a budget. It ended up coming in 3 times the budget. We had to redesign the entire thing to get it down to twice the budget, but it was still twice the budget. We ended up figuring it out. It's all worked out, and these units are actually working now, which is really cool. Now they have to come back and install a bunch of other units as well, but we got the main units in already and they're already working, which is good for the winter time. But again, now we've got to get like gift shop, back of the house, all the other stuff, all those going. Those are smaller units that actually hang on the inside of the building, not on top of the roof. So at least the HVAC or heating and cooling worked out. But again, not everything was bad. You know, these tanks here, we put them in a spot just to store them until we were ready for them, and it was kind of in the way, so we had to set them where they were. Once we started to do the Archer tank and the Shark tank, we knew we couldn't move them, so we had to move them. Honestly, with Felipe and his crew, the moving of them was very, very scary. But it went better than we actually expected. And we did it without any damage to the tanks, which is good. And then, of course, a week later, we had to move them again a couple extra feet and put them actually on the stand. That was actually terrifying to me. I will tell you, I wasn't gonna say anything, but the tanks are off about a quarter inch. Now, when we're done theming them, you guys will never see it, but I'm gonna know. This was definitely a problem right here. There was a pole in the middle of our Stingray tank. And when our architects drew this, they didn't have this pole here. So when we went to actually lay out the Stingray tank, guess what? There was a pole. Rather than moving the Stingray tank 2 or 3 feet over, we actually just decided to leave the pole within the exhibit itself. And we're just gonna theme around it. It's not gonna be a big deal, but it definitely was a big problem. Now that led to another problem, which is of course right here. And now we have our pole in our way. The good news is when the themers come back, they're actually gonna theme some other stairways around this pole so it'll all work out. And that's just part of doing this type of build. And the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is when you're doing any project, there's going to be 1,000 problems that come up. It's all about taking each problem and solving that problem. So every day I wake up in the morning, something is going to go wrong, and I have to find a solution for that problem, right? It's good because it keeps me kind of motivated, it keeps me excited, it keeps my brain going, and it's kind of fun. Listen, I wish everything would go smooth, but it never is going to go smooth. You're going to have problem after problem. What you have to do is just attack each of those problems and find the right solution. Sneaky peeky. Look at that. This is actually the ceiling that goes on the drywall up front. It's actually like a black metal. Got a little corrugation to it. Looks really, really cool. It's gonna look sexy up there. One of the things that came off without a hitch and actually was better than I even expected, of course, was the pond that Aquascape did. Ed and Greg and all the guys over at Aquascape did an amazing job. They donated the pond. They knocked this out in just a few days and it looks absolutely incredible. Now there is one little hitch though. When we plug in the big waterfall and these bubblers over here, it pops the fuse because everything is run to one fuse right here. So what we're gonna do is actually run 3 fuses out here. That way we don't just run the filtration, but we can run the big waterfall and we can run the bubble urns as well. But in the meantime, other than the bridge not being here, the pond was absolutely perfect. bummed about this in one way. You know, I'm glad we're making progress, but you know, I enjoyed it when we were like building and things were going in. Now we're kind of ripping things out again. We're ripping floor out, we're trenching, we're putting piping in. I can't wait till we can get the concrete in, the platform in, and start adding again. And that's when it gets exciting, right? And it won't be long before we're actually adding new tanks, we're adding the reptile section, we're doing all that. So it's gonna be absolutely cool. But right now, it's a little bit sad to see this beautiful building get tore up again.
But that's estimated. They still haven't figured out exactly. Like, they haven't told us what's going on. Trucks everywhere. And like, it's already, like he said, it's Jimmy John's, all that area is out, all the way up to Taco Bell and stuff is out. So it's a huge area. It's a huge area. He said he saw tons of trucks over by Jimmy John's.
And as these guys are foraging around in the dark over here at BHB, this gives you an idea why the generator is so important over at the Legasea. Now, we have actually a pool generator here, but the power hopefully is only going to be out for a couple hours. It's actually a pretty nice day here, even though it's in October. It's actually warm enough, so rather than pulling the generator out and going through all the hassle of that, we're just going to kind of wait it out, and I think we're going to be fine here. That wouldn't be the case if it was over there full of fish. So, of course, the generator is super important. And, of course, today I got news that the generator that we bought may actually have a little bit different specification than what we actually need. Or hopefully they'll be able to change the settings a little bit. I don't even know what that means. And then the transfer switch, there's an issue with it. The electricians and the engineers that we're buying the generator from, they're talking back and forth and making sure that the generator will actually work, because it's supposed to ship next week and get here. By the way, it's 17,000 pounds. Gonna need a crane to unload that one.
Can we get helium?
And then, of course, there was the ceiling. And by that, I mean the foaming of the ceiling. We always knew we were going to black out the ceiling, but we didn't realize that we had to foam it to actually insulate the building more. And that was a huge, huge expense that in the budget we did not have. Although it turned out absolutely amazing, and I love the texture. If we had lights on, you'd be able to see it a lot better. I could tell you that much. But it looks super cool now that it's blacked out. But again, that was a huge expense that we didn't even see coming. We're actually standing in the foundation for the bridge tank. And it's interesting, right? Because if you see the foundation here, it's about 4 inches thick right here. Whereas over at the shark tank, it was 10 inches thick. Don't know what that was all about, but we did have a little bit of an issue with the bridge tank when I bought it. You gotta remember, the cylinder, it's a cylinder and then a cylinder overhead. And it actually will look like this when it's done. Absolutely an incredible display. And when I bought it, he said he'd install the cylinder over the top, because obviously you can't ship them together because it would break during shipping, right? Well, I just recently talked to him, and guess what? He said he doesn't have the time or the energy to actually do it. So we had to figure someone else out to actually do the bridge tank. The good news is, again, it's all about problem solving. Shark Tank guy, my buddy Alex that's doing the Shark Tank, said that he would take care of us and finish the bridge tank for us. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but hey, it'll all get done. And like I said, there's been plenty of problems and there have been plenty of good things. The front of the building actually was a good thing, right? We had X amount of dollars that were budgeted to make the front of the building because we wanted to make absolutely incredible. And sure enough, we came in right about budget, just slightly over, but it wasn't bad, and I'm definitely happy with the way it turned out. We have a couple little things that we're gonna add to it, but it's gonna be absolutely amazing. Are there gonna be more problems? Absolutely. Are there gonna be more triumphs? Absolutely. That's all part of building something like the Legasea Aquarium. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise...
This is the vacuum.
One time.
Can you imagine?